Imagine a city so terrified it surrendered before a single arrow was fired. That city was Merv in 1221. The Mongols promised safety, but when the gates opened, almost everyone inside was killed. Rivers of blood ran through the streets, and the few survivors carried tales of horror to neighboring towns. This wasn't mindless violence, this was strategy. Genghis Khan's most powerful weapon wasn't his army, it was fear itself. Genghis Khan, born Temujin around 1662, came from the harsh Mongolian steppe. Life was brutal. His father, Yesegai, was a minor chieftain, but when Temujin was still young, his father was poisoned by rival clans. Temujin's family was abandoned by their tribe and left to survive in extreme conditions. Hunger, exposure, and attacks from rival tribes were constant threats. At one point, Temujin was even kidnapped and left for dead, but he survived. These early hardships taught Temujin a lesson that would shape his future campaigns. Strength alone wasn't enough. Reputation and perception mattered just as much. How people saw you could determine whether they fought, fled, or surrendered. By 1206, Temujin had united the Mongol tribes and was proclaimed Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. His army was small compared to the great empires surrounding him, but he understood something crucial. He didn't need to outnumber his enemies if he could make them surrender before battle even began. The Mongol army was unlike anything anyone had seen. Every soldier was a skilled rider and archer. Every unit operated in disciplined formations, able to travel for weeks with minimal rest. Their Yam communication system allowed messages and orders to travel hundreds of miles in days. But what really set them apart wasn't just speed or skill, it was the psychological power of their reputation. Across Central Asia, word of Mongol brutality had already spread. Cities that resisted were destroyed completely. Those that surrendered sometimes received mercy. News traveled faster than the armies themselves, and fear became the most potent weapon in Genghis Khan's arsenal. Take Nishapur in 1221. The city resisted the Mongols. After just a few days of siege, it was captured. Chroniclers describe rivers of blood and the streets emptied of life. The message was simple: resistance equals annihilation. Nearby, at Merv, Genghis Khan's son, Tolui, oversaw another siege. The city surrendered, but tens of thousands were killed anyway. Survivors fled and spread tales of horror, warning neighboring towns. By the time Mongol forces approached, many cities surrendered without a fight. Samarkand, one of the richest cities of the era, faced the Mongols in 2020. Genghis Khan used threats, negotiation, and timing to shatter its morale before his army even arrived. Sometimes fear did all the work. Before attacks, Mongol envoys delivered ultimatums: surrender or die. These envoys carried stories of massacres, ensuring cities felt the threat before seeing the army. Some surrendered preemptively. Others were tricked with feigned retreats, leading enemies into ambushes and chaos. Mongols also exaggerated their numbers, using extra campfires, dust clouds, and noise, creating illusions of unstoppable armies. The perception of overwhelming strength often caused defenders to surrender without a fight. Massacres were not random acts of vengeance. They were strategic. Some survivors were deliberately spared to spread news of Mongol ruthlessness. Fear multiplied faster than their army could march. Scouts and spies reported enemy morale, leadership, and weaknesses, letting Genghis Khan target psychological pressure points precisely. During the Khwarezmian campaign, 1219 to 1221, cities like Bukhara and Urgench surrendered quickly, Intimidated by the Mongols' reputation, Genghis Khan alternated between diplomacy and intimidation, offering safety or threatening annihilation. Leaders often chose surrender over resistance. His army's mobility, precision, and unpredictability amplified fear, making even large walled cities vulnerable. But Genghis Khan's genius went beyond fear tactics. He introduced merit-based promotion, rewarding skill and loyalty, which made his commanders exceptionally capable. He also respected certain religions and cultures, sparing cities that complied and using their governance as models for conquered regions. This combination of fear and governance solidified Mongol control far beyond the battlefield. The Mongols' reputation reshaped politics, trade, and daily life across entire regions. Chroniclers like Ibn al-Athir and Juvaini documented the terror and efficiency of Genghis Khan's campaigns. Cities and rulers responded not just to arrows and swords, but to the idea of Mongol wrath itself. Even when outnumbered, Mongols often won. Fear broke enemy formations faster than arrows. Psychological tactics, combined with cavalry mobility, intelligence, and strategic planning, created a force no army could match. By the time Genghis Khan's death in 1227, his empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. Entire cities surrendered at the mere mention of his name, sometimes without a single battle being fought. The irony is striking. Some of the Mongols' deadliest victories required no fighting at all. Fear itself became a decisive tool, shaping the course of history. Genghis Khan didn't just conquer lands, he conquered minds. And perhaps the biggest lesson from his campaigns is this: sometimes the perception of power can be more deadly than power itself. Even today, the strategies of Genghis Khan remind historians that psychological warfare, planning, and the careful use of reputation can influence outcomes far beyond sheer force. Cities surrendered, armies faltered, and empires fell, not because of arrows alone, but because people believed what they believed would happen. From the steppe of Mongolia to the cities of Central Asia, Genghis Khan's legacy is clear. The mind can be as powerful as the sword, and in war, fear can sometimes be the deadliest weapon of all.
This is real history. More hidden stories are coming. Subscribe to the channel and never miss the past that changed the world.